Last week's school shooting in Michigan, a few area districts have dealt with school threats of their own. The latest is Wyandotte High School. The Kansas City, Kansas Public School District learned last night of a social media post threatening to shoot up the school. KCTV5's Carolina Cruz is live from the high school where extra officers spent the day there. Carolina, you spoke with officers on both sides of the state line about school threats.
Yeah, I spoke with the Independence and Overland Park Police Department, and they tell me that they cannot afford to not be monitoring what's going on in other areas of both Missouri and Kansas. And they also told me that they are constantly monitoring what's going on in other areas. As far as Wyandotte High School, about half of the students opted to skip class today. Tracking down a piece of information online can be quick and easy, but sometimes the vastness of social media works against police officers investigating a threat.
It is very hard once a child posts something. It's almost like you're working backwards. You're trying to figure out, okay, where did you receive this video from, or where did you receive this post from? And we just keep going back and back.
Officer John LACY with the Overland Park Police Department says every threat is serious, even if intended as a joke. Independence Police Officer Jack Taylor, who worked as a school resource officer for over a decade, says they can't afford to not take it seriously.
We really don't know, out of all these threats that we work, how many were actually were going to be carried out. I mean, how many did we actually prevent? We don't know.
It can be a catch-22. Officer Taylor says more reporting of threats might plant more seeds in other students to do the same. Ultimately, he says officers in schools are a big help. They're the first to find out about a threat, contact local police officers about the investigation, and figure out if it's legitimate. Then any disciplinary action for the student.
There can also be criminal consequences for these as well.
I want the kids to understand that even if it's a small threat and you know that the person probably doesn't have a firearm or anything like that, you never know if they obtained a firearm. So that's why we want that information. We want that open communication. That's why we have school resource officers available inside the schools.
Between Officer LACY and Officer Taylor, they ask for two things. They ask for parents to be tech savvy, know what apps your child is using, and know how to use those hidden features on some of those apps too. And for students, if you do see a threat online, screenshot it, tell your parent or guardian about it, and then notify your school. Reporting in KCK, I'm Carolina Cruz, KCTV 5 News.
Yeah, just can't be ignored. Carolina, thank you. Tonight,